guys? Welcome to another episode of Muay Thai Save Me. Alongside me, you all know him, my business partner, Edwin Lopez. Hey, smiling.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
But across from me, we have Suzy. Hi, Suzy.
And Gizmo.
And Gizmo.
He's back.
And Gizmo. I know Suzy's a little nervous, but let's just shake off the nerves. I want to start off with, who is Suzy? Where are you from? Where were you raised? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I was born and raised here in the Valley in Van Nuys. I'm 24 years old. I was raised by a single mom. I'm Armenian, if that matters. Your favorite Armenian. Clearly, I'm a redhead. I'm going through my red phase. Yeah. There goes Gizmo.
Okay. And I want to tap in because a lot of people don't know. Suzy, how long have you been a member with us?
I'm going on 3 years in September.
Okay. And a lot of people don't know, like, you joined us during a pandemic, right?
Yeah.
Now, when I first met you, you were telling me, yeah, I went to an all-women's gym. Why did you choose an all-women's gym from the very beginning? Why did you choose to go to an all-women's gym? What was that about?
So, my mom was a member there, so she had some influence on me going there. So it's like, okay, like I'll be going to the gym with my mom, you know, some mother-daughter spending time a little bit. And then I had never been to a normal commercial gym, you know? So I was like, okay, I'm a little bit scared going to a regular commercial gym. Like, let me try this out. And it worked for me. I was comfortable being there.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, cool. Like, you know, I'm comfortable. This works. You know, I'm going to stay here for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then during the pandemic, they closed. And then after, like, everything opened back up, they reopened. And then after things shut down, they completely, like, went bankrupt. So that gym was, like, no longer existing anymore.
I see. And then what did you do when you found that out? Were you, like, heartbroken? Like, how did you feel?
I had to figure something out because at the time I worked at a nail salon. So nail salons were non-essential businesses. So it was one of the things that closed. And I was not forced, but technically forced. Like, I quarantined at home. And I was going hiking in the beginning and everything. And then they shut down hiking trails. So then comes in, like, trying to work out at home. That didn't work out. So then I got stuck. And then that's when, like, the weight gain and everything happened. And then, like, I got depressed. And I'm like, okay, I don't know what to do anymore. Like, I got to figure it out.
And then how did you find us?
Kim.
Kim, really?
Yeah. So
Really?
before
Tell
the
us a little about that.
so
How'd you find Kim?
high school.
Okay.
Okay.
So before the pandemic hit, I was, like, talking with Kim a little bit, and she was telling me, oh, you know, like, you and Alma, who's my best friend, she was like, oh, you guys should come try out a class, whatever. And I texted my best friend telling her, she goes, oh yeah, I'm so down. Like, we were both up for it. And then I think once we decided, like, okay, we're going to go on this Thursday, because the Thursday worked for both of us, that's when everything got shut down that week. It's like, okay, like, it was like, it passed by. So then after the women's gym went bankrupt and was no longer existing, I hit Kim up. I'm like, hey, like, can you tell me about it? Like, how do I go about taking a class, whatever it is? And she signed me up. She walked me through it. I came in for my first class with you. It was me, you, and then this one other guy in the parking lot. And I remember it so specifically, and I'm like, okay, I don't know what to expect. And you had me run as a warm-up. I'm like, oh, God, I hate running. And even now, like, if you notice, when you have us warm up in class, I take a little bit extra time stretching out.
I know.
Oh,
I
you
know.
Oh, okay.
I see it.
But yeah, and I signed up for my first class, and just the rest is history.
So what did you feel like when you did that first class, coming from someone who's never done this type of training before? You did it outside, right? It was a very weird time for the whole world. What about the class that made you say, you know what? I want to do this. I want to keep doing this. What did you see? What did you feel? What were you doing at that point where you're like, I want to do this? Because as a woman, like, Muay Thai is very intimidating. It's very, like, scary. I don't want to be a fighter, right? Like, what were the thoughts going in your head that you're like, you know what, I'm going to do this?
So at first, it started off as like a fitness mindset where I was like, okay, cool, like I'm in here, this class gets my adrenaline going. It's like high intensity that I love, like high intensity stuff. So I was like, okay, cool, like I like it. And then one class turned into 2 classes, 2 to 3, 3 to 4. And then it started, again, like it just started off as a fitness mindset, me wanting to get a workout and like get fit and like lose the weight that I gained during the pandemic. And then like, you call it the light bulb effect. So 2.5 years later, here I am getting my light bulb effect, where it's not like me grasping the combos and me grasping like the technique and like all of that. It's more like, okay, this is no longer fitness for me. This is like my happy place. This is my sanctuary. This is my peace. So it turned in from like fitness and working out to more of like me wanting to learn more of the technique, to learn more technical stuff and like more camps. Like if you notice, this year I took my first camp.
Yeah.
And I've been trying to show up to every other camp that you've been
Can I give you a high
hosting.
five for that?
Yes.
That a girl.
That's nice.
That a girl.
Last year you wouldn't catch me here
Yeah.
at a camp. I was
Yeah.
like, okay, this is just fitness. Like I'm not into that. This year it's a completely different mindset.
What interested you in that? Like, because that's a big switch to happen where you're like, I just want to come for fitness, but now I want to spar. Now I want to train like a fighter. Like, what happened? Like from last year to this year, what switched in you that I want to learn this?
At one point, I caught myself like, you know, going to Martine's first fight and then every other fight, watching the guys fight. I was like, you know, maybe I can see myself doing this one day. And even if I don't, okay, cool. Like I'll still be learning the art and the technique and like the history of it. So it turned into me just wanting more and more of it. Like in a sense, I have a craving for it now.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And for people that don't know you, you're a full-time law student. You do work full-time, correct? And then you still make time to come literally almost every day here. How do you do that?
It's not something that, like, okay, I gotta, like, switch my schedule around, like, figure it out. It's just something that I have to do at this point. I'm trying to, like, get the right words to put it out, but it's something that I have to do. This is my normal now. It is what it is. This is my reality, and this is how I have to go about it.
Nice.
Like you've told me this before, every new chapter of my life requires a newer version of me. This is my newer version.
I love that.
So this is just something that I have to, it's just, I just have to make it work. And the other day I was complaining to my mom. I'm like, Mom, I'm so tired. Like I'm falling asleep at my desk at work. And she's like, you know, if you didn't get up at 4 a.m. every day, you'd get more rest. I'm like, that's not an option.
That's right.
It's not. Like, it is what it is.
Another high five, girl. Another high five.
What class do you do?
5 a.m.
Really?
Yeah,
That's
just a
probably why I don't see you as often
Yeah.
and all that. Wow,
Yeah.
that's a lot of dedication to come at that time.
And I actually just finished my second semester of my first full year of law school. So I have like 2 weeks between now and when my finals start. So you'll be seeing me here more in the
Okay.
evening.
Good.
What are you going to, what are you practicing?
So right now, law school, they just take you through everything that you need to know about laws, like rear remedies, criminal law, contracts, property, all that stuff. My 2 main interests is criminal defense and, and family law.
Okay.
And, you know, that kind of came about, like, me as a kid. I was always interested in true crime. So I was, like, 8 years old. I was
Wait,
watching...
the show or actual true
No,
crime?
like, actual true crime.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
documentaries and
Okay.
stuff.
Okay.
So, like, at 8 years old, you would catch me watching, like, a serial killer documentary and whatever.
Wow.
And then all of a sudden, I'd be scared to go into the dark by myself.
Based off the odds, I'm not going through that alley.
Like, Grandma, turn off the lights.
Wow.
Have you in your, because you said it took about 2.5 years for the light bulb, right? In that 2.5 years, did you ever quit or stop coming?
I had periods where, like, I would go ghost on the gym. Well, I was still a member. I didn't cancel my membership or anything. But I had periods where I just stopped coming because of life and work and so on and so forth. So like I no longer have an excuse to do that. If I've been doing this since January with work and school, I like don't have an excuse to just go ghost all of a sudden. Like, okay, if I have an injury, whatever, it's acceptable, it's understandable, but I'm holding myself accountable now. So I've gone periods of like 3-4 weeks of not showing up, or like just showing up on a Saturday morning at 5.
What would you say to somebody, because obviously we have individuals that come and go into this gym, right? Mm-hmm. And sometimes they quit just too early, you know, or they stop coming, or it's hard for them to get that rhythm. What would you tell old Susie, the one who took time off and stuff like that, as opposed to how you look at, because now it's a lifestyle for you is what you're saying, right? Mm-hmm. Like it's non-negotiable, in other words, like the way your mom said, well, you don't have to get up, where you're like, it's non-negotiable, it's part of my life. What would you say to an individual who's go to watch this, because there's a lot of people who watch our podcast and are no longer members, right? And they just took that time off and they can't find that rhythm to come back, but they love it and they just don't know how to get back into the things. Like, what would you say, I guess, to yourself or to somebody who's out there who's struggling to really getting back into it, and you know what I mean, help them out?
You do not have an excuse. Nobody's gonna hold you accountable but yourself. You're not gonna get somebody next to you and be like, oh, you need to go do this, you need to go do that. Like, you go through life alone. Like, okay, you have a significant other, you have family members, you have friends, but realistically, no one is gonna push you to do what you want to do at the end of the day. So you have to hold yourself accountable. If you want something, you have to do the first step to go towards your goals. And which is why, like, me doing school, work, and gym, it's like no one's gonna do what I want to do in life besides me. I have to hold myself accountable.
That's right.
I like that. It's like some David Goggins right there. Damn,
stay
that's
hard.
Really good. But you know what? Like, as simple as it seems, it's hard for people. You know what I mean?
And it is.
Because they and I don't mean to cut you off. They depend on other people or other people's opinions. You know, gets them down, and that's why, like, we always talk about your association is so important, because if my partner is like, don't let's not work, or let's not read a book, or let's not do this and not do that, if I look up to him, it's a huge influence. But at the end of the day, you're the one who pays the price, right? So that's huge.
And you can't depend on anybody else. It's like, again, if you have a day or two that you want to take off, okay, cool. Like, we all need those days. You need to listen to your body. But, like, completely giving up on something because you don't have motivation, you really need to tap into yourself and your mind. And, you know, you just need to learn yourself. You need to learn your body. You need to go about it yourself. Stop depending on other people.
And you know how people say that, like, find your why? Mm-hmm. You know, you've heard that, right? Mm-hmm. What's your why? For everything that you do, including the gym and your career and everything, what's your why?
My why is because I don't want to be dependent on anybody else for my future. I have to do this for myself, for my future, for my family, like my future family to come, so on and so forth. Like, again, this is something that I want to achieve in life, and I have goals. So my goals are not going to be accomplished by anybody else but me. So I have to take that step. I have to go about everything else myself.
I love that. I love that. Is there is like your family, I'm sure, is huge in importance. Your mom's is huge in importance. Mm-hmm. Is she who's a huge influence into you that you're like, hey, I'm gonna do this? Like, for example, myself, my kids and things like that. Do you have that also, where you're like, I don't know your history completely, but like for me, I want to change my family tree, right? Mm-hmm. Do you have that you tap into those days that your tank is low and stuff like that?
My mom.
Yeah.
She's my biggest backbone, and like being raised by a single mom, I've seen her moments like where she struggled. She had her moments and everything, but she's the one that's pushing me to keep going every day. Like, I've had moments where I text her like, why did you let me go to law school? Why did you let me do this? Why did you let me do this? She goes, because if anybody can do it, it's you. Mm-hmm. And that right there is huge for me. Like, I want to be able to give back to my mom and let her know that whatever she sacrificed for me in my life. Look, Kim's crying too.
Kim, yeah, we can't have Kim in here. She cried. but like, tell us, please.
But yeah, I want my mom to know that whatever she sacrificed for me in my life, it was worth it. It didn't go to waste. I want her to know that, like, she raised a daughter that she can be proud of at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And, like, the other day, she went to the seminar in San Diego. My mom's a paralegal. She works in personal injury. So, obviously, that had some influence on me, too. And she went to the seminar in San Diego for personal injury stuff, whatever. They gave out these little, I think it's a gavel that the judges use. They gave out these little gavels, and I think I was at work, and then I came home from work or something. She left it on my bed with a note that said, "This is your future. I know that one day when I'm older and I'm on my deathbed or whatever," she goes, "I know that my daughter has succeeded in life because you're going to be an attorney. You're going to make me proud one day."
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
I love that. I love that. That's definitely a good why.
Yeah. Do you have siblings?
No, I'm an only child.
So it's
So it's just me and her growing up.
Okay.
And now my dog, but yeah.
Okay.
That is just a phenomenal why, and kind of like, now that you tell that story, you can see why you're so ambitious, so relentless. You come 5 a.m. It's a hard class, and then from what I've heard from people who are in the legal attorneys and all that, it's not an easy task. It's long hours, and it's a lot of book reading and all that stuff. So I applaud you for that, because I think that goes a long way. You know what I mean? Especially as a single parent, like, just to have that why and say, this is what I'm going to do it, and I'm not going to stop is huge, like. And
to tap into a different emotion here a little bit, so to give you a little break, you have become a big part of our community too. Like you had mentioned earlier, you go to all the fights to support the guys fighting, all the coaches fighting, but we've noticed you've made a lot of great friends here too. How would you say, like, what do you think is different with the friends you've made here as opposed to your best friends that you've known in high school, and that those are your, like, lifelong friends? Is there a difference between, like, the friendships you made here and there? And how do you feel, like, with, the community that you've built here, like, that you've been inclusive with here? You're hanging out, like, just the other day, you were at the Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia fight with us, and it was a table full of women. You guys were all just having a blast. Like, how has that been for you, having, like, another group that you can rely on and call your friends that really have your back and support you? Like, how has that been for you?
So we all bonded over Muay Thai, and these are people that I never thought would come into my life. Like, I'll give you an example. 2 or 3 of the friends out of the group that I was sitting with at the Tank Davis fight, they're old enough to be my mom. I love them. And
Nice.
I can't say.
No names. They're all watching you. They're like, I was in that table.
They know who they are.
I'll show a picture right now.
We'll just have like a whole screenshot of everybody.
Paul, what are you doing here? Oh my God. Yeah, these are people that I never, not that I never saw it, but life brings people into your life for certain reasons. And bonding here with my friends, and then bonding outside of the gym, and, like, seeing how well we all vibe together, I was like, wow, like, this is kind of cool. Like, I have another group of friends, and, like, in a different setting. But that setting moved outside of the gym, and I'm like, okay, they're literally my friends now, and I think it's so cool. We're, like, on Instagram sending each other memes and reels and stuff, and I'm like, yeah.
What do your friends who don't come to this gym say about your Muay Thai lifestyle and all that?
They think I'm crazy.
Really?
For getting up at 5 a.m., doing what I do, and, they're, of course, supportive in every aspect in my life. And my coworkers, my friends outside of the gym, they know when I haven't trained. Because I'll get to work one morning, and my coworker's like, oh, good morning, Susie. And I'm like, ugh. And they're like, you didn't train today, did you? I'm like,
really?
No, I didn't train. I'm very grumpy if I don't train. It's like some people, when they don't drink caffeine or coffee, they're grumpy, right? Because you get a caffeine headache, you're just not in a good mood, you're not awake, you're not alert. That's me if I don't train. And it all goes back to, like, them being supportive. Everyone's just, they think it's so cool. They're like, oh, like, when are we going to see you in the ring one day? Like, when are you going to fight? I'm like, I don't know. We'll leave that up to crew. But yeah, I'm just surrounded by support and positivity.
That's good.
And I wouldn't want to let anything else into my bubble.
Yeah.
Because my bubble and who I let into my safe space is very important.
Absolutely.
Because like you said earlier, what somebody thinking negatively can impact you.
That's right.
And that's what I don't want to hear. Like if I hear somebody saying, oh, like, oh, I hate my life, blah, 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 whatever. And I'm like, okay, so change it. Like,
That's right.
What are you complaining for? Take the step. Do what you got to do.
Yeah. That's
Have
right.
you had that? Because I think we all have those type of individuals that have came into our life. Have you had that where somebody has maybe been like, why do you go to that gym? Why do you do that? And anybody like that in your life that
Well,
you've
you
had?
just maybe cut them out because
of that? Well, or maybe your career that you're chasing or anything like that?
Not anything towards my career, but I've had people be like, dude, like, you need to get rest. Like, you need to stop going at so early, whatever. I'm like,
Oh, they talking shit about the gym? Who is this?
Yeah.
no, it's nothing like that.
Mm.
But they're just like, you know, you need to put yourself first. Like,
Yeah.
stop worrying about fitness and this and that. And I'm like,
You know what's
Okay.
funny that they say that, right? You gotta put you first, and it's like that's what you're doing by
Yeah.
Yeah.
being fit and being healthy and
Yeah.
training. It's funny, people do it out of love, but they don't realize they're actually
Being
hindering
negative.
you and being negative.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
I posted some, I forgot like if it was last week or something, but I just said you got to be careful who you let talk to your ear, you know what I mean? Because it makes a huge impact. Because it's easy, and I've told Susie this too, for me working out and for you too, it's every day we'd rather get more sleep than go and work out. You know, that's an hour extra of sleep, you know, but it's who you have letting talk in your ear will either allow you to keep working up at 4 something in the morning to come at 5 a.m. or you just end up getting more rest and you feel grumpy every single day of your life.
I know. And that's the thing. Like, on a daily basis, like, I go to gym, to work, and then to school. So I'm up from like 4 a.m. and to like, let's say 11 p.m. My days are long. I only get like 4 to 5 hours of sleep. Sometimes 3 if I'm tossing and turning.
Welcome.
Yeah, welcome to the club.
Right? Right.
Twinsies.
Here you go.
Let's go.
Him too.
That's right. Gizmo too.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. He's like, I'm taking my nap right now.
But yeah, like, my days are long and, you know,
But they're productive.
they are productive. And that's why I'm okay with it.
Mm-hmm.
Even on my days off from school, which was Thursdays, after I finished work, I would go home and that's when I would catch up on sleep. I would nap for like 3 or 4 hours straight,
Mm-hmm.
and then I would wake up because I would come
I don't
home
think
and
that's a nap. I think that's a full rest.
and whatever you want to
I would nap
consider.
for 9 hours and then I would get up and, around 11 and enjoy the rest of my Thursday.
Well, I consider them naps
Oh, okay.
because I still wake up and then go to bed right after again because I have a habit of coming home from work and then falling asleep in my scrubs, and my mom comes and wakes me. She goes, "Dude, get into bed. Like, what are you doing?" And I lost my train of thought. I forgot what I was saying.
It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah. What would you say, like, to people that come up with excuses, Oh, Susie, well, I can't come because of X, Y, or Z, right? And coming from someone who is up long
Side
hours
eye.
like us.
Side
right?
eye.
Well, more than anything, you've been here 3 years, and it'll feed on to Neil's question. You've seen people come and go here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure the people that you've seen come and go, you most likely follow some of them on social media. What do you say to those individuals that you thought were gonna make it, or talked a big game, or like, yeah, we're doing this? Because we hear it all the time, right? Whether it's in business or working out, whatever it might be. But we have this thing where me and Neil, whenever we do new habits or anything like that, we always say 90 days. Because people could talk shit, but to do something 90 days, it takes a lot. And normally you start building a habit around 90 days, or you see people's true colors, because everybody's in their best behavior or is motivated or whatever it might be till 90 days. Those individuals, because those are the ones who are going to obviously see this podcast. They love you in one way or another, or they're your friend or whatever it might be, who stopped and quit. Like,
Life there's always like external sources as to why people stop coming. Like, oh, I had to move away, you know, work's too much. Like, okay, cool, I get it. But realistically, this gym's open from 5 a.m. to like, what, 10 o'clock? You don't have an excuse. If I'm doing it at the pace that I'm doing it,
That's right.
you do not have an excuse. And the next person doesn't either, and the next person doesn't either.
That's right.
So again, it really just has to come within yourself and from you. If you're not taking the step to better your life, your health is wealth. Health is wealth. So if you're not taking the step to better your health, then to shit with you, I mean.
To share with you.
And Susie, do you feel too that when you get yourself up out of bed and you get here to the 5 a.m., how do you feel energy-wise leading you that long day? How do you feel?
So I take pre-workout in the morning. That's no secret. You see me every morning when I come in, I'm like, oh, hi crew. You're like, it's fine. We'll get your the blood flowing. You'll wake up. I'm running off pre-workout the whole entire day because that one scoop is like 350 milligrams. That's all I need to get through my day. And there's days where I am a little bit extra tired. I'll drink a Celsius. I'll go get more coffee or whatever. But like some people, when they wake up, they like to let the sun hit their face. They like to let the sun hit their face and feel grounded, like in the grass and everything. This is my way of grounding me before I start my day. Because for like the hour and a half that I'm here, I am just mind-numbingly doing what crew is telling me. I don't have a single thought in my head. He tells me like, okay, jab cross. I'm like, I'm going to hit the jab cross. He tells me jump rope. I'm going to jump rope. I'm not thinking about what I'm doing. I'm just listening to my coach who's standing in front of me. And I let it all out in that moment. And then I feel refreshed and I'm like, okay, cool, like, let's get my day started now.
You feel like it supercharges you too to, all right, let's get this day going?
Yeah, because in a way it gets my adrenaline up, it gets my adrenaline going, and I'm like, all right, let's go. Like, I'll get to work and I'm like doing boom, 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 like one task right after another.
I like that, boom, boom, boom.
You're right. That. And then my boss sees me, she goes, what's wrong with you? Like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. She goes, you're working so much faster today. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, are you complaining? She goes, no, not at all.
Have you had some of your friends that are not from here come and try out a class aside from the one that you originally started with? Because she's not a member, is she?
No, she's not. Oh. She took one class and then it just wasn't her thing.
Right.
I've had friends come. They've tried it out. Like, am I allowed to say members' names?
Yeah.
Like Cruz, I've known him since high school also. We didn't go to the same high school, but I've known him since then. I remember during the pandemic when I had started, I got COVID, so I was out for like 2 weeks. And then I started texting Cruz one day, and then I was like, oh yeah, like this is where I'm going now, whatever. And he signed up, and he's been going at the same rate that I have been going.
Wow.
Yeah.
And he also has a crazy schedule too.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So, Susie, you know, Muay Thai has a lot of benefits, right? It has a lot of, you know, not only just the fitness side, the natural, and I think you touched base on it earlier, like the natural outlet, right? The natural outlet. You know, if you're okay with me sharing this and asking this question, I know you've shared with me like the depressions, the anxiety stuff that you deal with, you know. How has Muay Thai training helped you, you know, deal with that or handle it?
So my depression and the anxiety that comes and goes, it comes from exhaustion and the stress that I endure from school to work and, like, you know, just 19-hour long days. At one point it catches up to me and, like, I get into my own thoughts. I start overthinking and I'm like, okay, what if it's not worth it? Like, what if all the what ifs and the hypotheticals start kicking in? And then I have to catch myself and I'm like, okay, no, this is my reality. This is what's in front of me. This is what's going on. There's no what ifs, ands, or buts. It's like you let it go. So me being here at this gym, it is an outlet. And in a way, like, it's just, it helps clear my mind. It helps ground me. It helps let go of all the overthinking. And aside from the gym, I started journaling. So I have my manifestations and my affirmations that I like saying to myself. I start writing down everything that I want to manifest and moving forward. And after I do that, I feel better. Because it's like, it helps me realize, okay, it's on paper. So now I have to like actually move towards that. I have to work towards that. So it helps just keep the cycle going.
I love it. I love it. And you know, on days, do you ever have days where you're still battling those anxiety and the depression feelings?
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like, because we have such an awesome community here, do you feel like seeing certain individuals in class, you're like that, do you feel like sometimes that those thoughts just disappear because you're like, oh my gosh, I see such and such here. Oh, crew partnered me up with, oh, even better. You know, do you feel like that also helps you get through those tough days?
It does. There's certain people that I see in class I'm just happy to see them.
Nice.
Because of their positive energy and
Yeah.
the good energy that comes to me from them.
Nice.
And I'm like, okay, I gotta let it go. So like when people step into work and they have like personal stuff going on in their lives, you like let that out and you just work, right? So for me, I'm trying to do that here also. It's like I have my anxiety, I have my overthinking, I have all of this going on in my head. Time for me to just let go of that, put that in the back of my head and just do this and just focus on this. Because when I'm here, I'm not thinking about, okay, I have to go like read this case for school. I have to like go learn this rule. I have to study for this class or nothing like that. I let go of it and I'm like, okay, time to do this, time to focus. Let's get it. And I let go of it and I'm like, okay.
You know what's crazy? When Kim's all like, we need to have Suzy on the podcast, and I haven't really talked to you. I see you here and there, mostly like once in a while you'll come in the evenings, right? And I'm like, well, I don't know, like even in the beginning when we started, I was like, well, I don't really know much about her or what to say or anything like that. But just in this last 20 minutes, it's like so amazing and so inspiring. I just wanted to tell you that your story has been. That's what I love. I love hearing people's story. Like, to me, whenever I go to a convention, something, a seminar, read a book, or whatever it might be, a podcast, I just want to hear people's story because you relate to them and for me, like, it just gives me, like, that energy boost to say, keep going, you know what I mean? And your story about your mom and everything that you're going through and why you're doing, I'm just like, gotta keep fucking going, man. And it's amazing to have individuals like you in this gym because... You're the avatar of who we want here. Like, we want more Susys here to inspire other women's individuals and just people to just keep going because
no matter
there's
what.
a lot of it. There's a lot. I mean, you know, you were raised by a single mom, and it's like there's a lot of people in that situation that feel hopeless or don't know where they're going in life or whatever it might be. And it's like, doesn't matter the situation, like you keep going, you keep moving,
or no matter how hard it is, you just keep going, don't
and,
stop.
And all BS, like I'm so inspired by your story and by your ambition and by what you're doing. And when you become an attorney, you could represent us if we ever get in trouble or whatever it might be. Just
okay,
saying.
but like 3 years, you guys cannot do anything for 3 years, okay? Because what year is this? 2023?
Yes.
I won't be an attorney until like, let's say late 2025 or 2026.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so you guys
Wait
until then. Okay, like wait until I text you, be like, I passed my bar exam. Okay?
All right, sign.
It's time, we can do stuff now.
But honestly, it's amazing, your story, and I think, like, wow, I can see why Kim wanted you on here because this is what this podcast is all about, man. And I salute you for that.
Thank you.
You know, and
Suzy, thank you so much for hanging out with us. You know, and sharing your story. We love you just speaking from the heart, you know, and we love that the emotions came out too, because I'm telling you, if this story touches just one person, it was all worth it. You know what I mean? It was all worth just us hanging out and just chatting. You know what I mean? It was really worth it. But thank you so much for hanging out with us.
Oh, can I add one more thing?
Sure.
For those women that are out there debating on stepping into a Muay Thai gym because they're intimidated by the men and so on and so forth, step in there. Like, don't be afraid. If there's a woman watching this who's not a member, who's thinking about joining, just fucking join. Just do it. Like, take that first step. There's no need to be intimidated. Everybody in this community is very welcoming. Sometimes here and there you'll come across an asshole or two. But everybody else that I've had an experience with, that I've trained with, I've had a really good, positive experience. So don't be intimidated, just do it.
I love it.
And 9 times out of 10, your technique will turn out better than half the men in here.
That's true.
Sheesh.
And you know what? And the reason why I like to say that, and I agree with you, because the women listen.
Mm-hmm.
They listen to our explanations. They listen to the details where the guys just, oh,
It's
I
their
just want to
egos.
go. Yeah.
Their egos
Yeah,
are bigger
women
than
listen.
their heads.
Women listen. So,
I
but
love it.
guys, thank you, Susie.
Yeah, thank you.
Guys, thank you so much for staying in tune with another episode of Muay Thai Save Me. If you guys liked this content, this episode, don't forget to subscribe, like it, share it to someone who you might think Susie's story could impact and make a change for them, to encourage them and inspire them to do something great with their life, okay? But stay tuned for the next episode. We'll see you guys soon.